Back on Morning Line, our final segment this morning, talking about the deferred action for childhood arrivals. Of course, we now know that that has been kind of revoked. It's not there anymore, and the question is what happens to these dreamers. With us this morning to talk about this, Renata Soto, along with attorney Elliot Osment. Thank you both for coming on today. And a lot of calls here. It's our final segment. I want to try to get to a few of them. If you can comment quickly, we will as well, and make our way through these. Let's go to Joyce. Hi, Joyce.
Hi.
Hey, good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, back in the day, we could walk down the street in the middle of the night and not have to worry about that. And we had Jesus Christ in our schools and everything. Nowadays, because we've allowed everybody and their brothers over here, we don't have no rights. The true Americans have no rights whatsoever. God has been taken out of our schools. Our kids don't have no rights. I mean...
I'm sorry. She's wrong. As far as I know, I've got rights. I don't want to hear it. All right, let's move on. We will go next to Amy. Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Amy.
I just had to call back in. I heard a comment that said, a lady said, never once have anybody walked up to her and told her, thank you for being here. I've never walked up to a Native American and told them thank you for being here, and I don't think anybody has. I think we really need to check ourselves and take ourselves to a place where we use our heart instead of our negative thoughts. And as far as the gentleman that's on your show this morning, I respect him so much for bringing the word, the biblical aspect into it, because perhaps if we did that more, we wouldn't be in the situation that we're in today. And everybody needs to really use more love. But this America belongs to nobody.
All right, thank you for your call. Let's go to Alan. Alan, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Alan. Go ahead.
Yes, I have no problem with the immigrants that come over here. We're all immigrants. I have no problem with them coming over here and applying for citizenship and stuff like that. How they ought to be welcome to do that. But the problem I do have is that they're here illegal. When it's said illegal immigrants, that is illegal in our country. But we have people who have done minor felonies as they class. They start classifying felonies on just about everything now and take away the U.S. citizens' right to vote stuff. I see that maybe you might not let someone that's convicted of shooting somebody or raping somebody or something like that, but we have felonies that don't even relate to stuff like that, and they take their rights away from them. But we have these people marching over here illegally. That are here illegal, that are marching here trying to tell us how we're going to run our system.
Okay. A lot of people see the rallies yesterday in response to what happened and the like. And again, I guess you need to comment on this just as you did with Grady. A lot of people, for them, it's pretty much black and white. It's they're not here with proper documentation. What more is there to discuss? And that's transcending just the dreamer issue here, okay?
Well, I like Alan because he said he had no problem with immigrants coming up to this country. Where I disagree with Alan is, number one, when these people were protesting yesterday, they were legally present if they were DACA students.
Oh, yeah, I think.
And number two, they were protesting legally. You know why? Because they are protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution, just like Alan is, just like we are. And so there was nothing illegal about what they were doing.
Right.
Now, when a person who is DACA or anyone else undocumented commits a crime, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, when those people are arrested, they are screened by ICE automatically. And if they are convicted, they are then taken to Louisiana, put into immigration court, and put into deportation proceedings, and they can be deported. So if they commit a crime while they're here, they are out of here in the final analysis.
And to your earlier question about what would immigration reform looks like, you know, the reason why people here are without papers is not because they thought that was an easier path to get here, is because there's no line or application and criteria that they can meet. That's the outdated part of our system. So all of us advocate that when we are hoping to bring people out of the shadows, people will have to prove that they have no criminal record, that they've been paying taxes, that they have been good residents of the communities where they are. We agree that that's the kind of American that we want to claim this as their home, right? And so the problem is that they are here without papers, not because that was an easy route. Actually, that's harder. It's the hardest thing that you can do. It is that there's no line for people like most of the parents that brought these children and the children. Other than DACA, which gave them that reprieve that protected some 800,000, not all the children, actually, not all the dreamers, but some. And so trying to make sure that people have a way to show I am a good resident, I'm a good person, I pay my taxes, I have no criminal record. It is part of what undocumented immigrants will have to prove, hopefully, when that chance is given.
Well, we now know the ball's in the court of Congress, at least for now. As far as real quick, we just have a minute left. I know you're an attorney, and legally speaking, there's really nothing you can do for any of these clients besides give them advice, as you did, about going ahead and re-upping their card. But aside from that, legally, you just have to sit back and watch and see what happens next, right, in Congress?
Well, that's correct. And that leads to one final comment I'd like to make.
Okay, just about 30 seconds.
A lot of people ask, why don't these people just become legal? Let me give you one example of why. It's because they came up here illegally. If they married a U.S. citizen spouse, they can get a waiver for that one illegal entry. But what many of them have done is they had to go back home to bury their mama or their papa. And then they entered again illegally. And guess what? The law does not give the spouse the right to get a waiver for 2 illegal entries, only 1.
Wow. See, you think, Elliot, listen, thank you. We'll talk more. I'm sure we'll do much more on this, Renata, as well. Thank you both for coming on this morning. And
thank you for having us.
We'll continue to follow the story. We'll be right back to wrap things up right after this. Yeah, that's so they go home, and then they come back and go for another entry. Yeah.
When you